we should be synonym of future technology. And I think that in order to get that in an orderly fashion, we have a lot of IP, a lot of patents on the go, and we'll find ways of actually enabling the industry with the usage of blockchain.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hashing It Out. I am your host, Becky Liggero. And I wanted to remind you to please like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you do not miss a future episode of Hashing It Out. Today, I am here with Hakan Yuksel. He is the CEO of nChain. Hakan, welcome. It is so fantastic to have you with me here today. This is wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and what's extra special about this is we are right now in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I've had the pleasure of spending quite a bit of time with Hakan here, which has been absolutely magnificent and one of the highlights.
Thank you.
And I wanted to take some time today to introduce to our audience here a little bit about Hakan, how he came to find himself with nChain, and what really interests him in blockchain technology. And I think that the gambling industry clearly has heard quite a bit about nChain because of the nChain solution and how we're using that. So I wanted everyone to know the man behind the company. So Hakan, first of all, let's start by talking about your background, because I know that you have a deep, deep history with software as a service companies such as SAP and Oracle. Tell us a bit about the leadership positions that you've had in these types of companies in the past.
Oh, wonderful. So first of all, a man of many, many countries. I have lived in Europe, a lot of in the US, and now here today we are in the Middle East. But yeah, my passion, SAP and Oracle, very large enterprise software companies, global, deeply caring about the enterprise. And they've learned a lot, and they had many, many transitions. They went all the way from being very, very on-premise to being cloud companies. And there is a kind of a handover to blockchain technologies, and there is a very natural handover. So for me, it's a very natural transition, though I'm not a specialist of blockchain yet.
Yes, you will get there, but you're learning, and this is something that I wanted to talk about today as well. But let's talk about why we're here in Saudi Arabia, because you're here representing nChain. You have other nChain representatives here as well. What is really interesting about this part of the region, and what's your experience been since we've come here?
Yeah, I think that it's, first of all, the initiative here is amazing. All those nations must transform. As we all know, they have their greatness from the oil industry, but they must transform. And they have to think 10 years, 20 years ahead. And they do that. And technology is always an enabler. And here the kingdom is really at the forefront of it. They have the means, they have the interest, and therefore we are here. So yes, I do have a lot of experience with very large events across the world, usually in places like France, London, the Silicon Valley, and here we are in Riyadh. And the government is very interested to gather the ecosystem, which they have done in the last 3 days greatly. Yeah, all of us were here.
Yeah.
Always.
It's been really, really interesting almost watching you in your meetings with people, just absorbing what's happening in this part of the world and learning how nChain can help solve some of the problems, which I think is super cool.
I think that you have to be here. I would have stayed in London, in Zurich. I would have gotten a summary. Someone would have filtered the information, but you would have never understood really the amplitude of the need, but also the local practices. There are specificities here, and you have to come here and listen to that, because sometimes you get it right or wrong by very little. And I want to have it right for nChain. By a lot.
Yes, by a lot. I love that. And here in Riyadh, we attended the LEAP conference, which was just spectacular, 100,000 people over a course of 3 days. And we had Simit presenting nChain to that audience, which was really great. And I mentioned earlier that the gambling industry has heard quite a bit about nChain via Nick Hill and Simit as well. So not necessarily from a gambling industry perspective, but as a whole, tell me what excites you so much about this nChain platform, and what are you going to do at nChain in order to increase the adoption of this solution?
Yeah, so first of all, we are here really, nChain is here very much to code and deploy a global platform, an open platform, and that's wonderful. And nChain comes as a layer in an industry agnostic manner. So what we provide is valid for the gaming industry, but could be healthcare, could be automotive, name it. So yeah, it's valid for everyone. And I think that, the gaming industry, if we had to say a few words about that and their interest for blockchain, I think that it's very natural.
Amazing. And also we've heard a bit about some of the payment solutions that you're working on at nChain. Can you speak to us a bit about this and what your vision is for the future of the payment solutions?
Yeah, I mean, we are thinking about many art of application by industry, but indeed, when you think about the origin of Bitcoin, payment comes very much as a first topic. Payments are large in quantity. Central bank play a role, but they can be very tiny. They can be by the cents. So yes, we will be putting a lot of effort, and nChain will be putting double-digit millions into that industry. So indeed, we're very much following, and what is valid for currencies, for some state nation, or cash solutions. So all of that is very much in our agenda, and very much demanded by central banks or by financial services institution. And I know the gaming industry is very close. It's the next step, and there is a need for that.
Outstanding. And I know nChain is known for its huge portfolio of patents, and also it's been known as a research and development firm. And I realize that you are newer in this position as CEO of the company. So it's kind of a big question as you're newer with the organization. But when you look at nChain, what is your future vision for the company? When people hear the word nChain, what do you want them to think? What kind of company are you trying to build?
Yeah, I think that we should be synonym of quality, the quality of the research. We should be synonym of future technology. And I think that in order to get that in an orderly fashion, we have a lot of IP, a lot of patents on the go, and we will find ways of actually enabling the industry with the usage of blockchain. So we'll find ways of commercializing our IP, possibly indirectly with the technology transfer method, or sometimes just through our products. We will embed our knowledge of blockchain, but also industry in our products.
I cannot wait, because nChain is just such an amazing company that I speak about so much with the nChain solution, so I can't wait for the future of that. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, we are meant to do it. I think that one of the nice aspects of the blockchain industry is this is young. And when you think about it, it's probably 5-6 years old. And our talent pool comes from everywhere and from many different industry. And the mix, the shaking and everyone together bring really very innovative solutions.
I love it.
I do too.
How did nChain find you? How did that happen?
Sometimes it's a bit of luck. nChain is headquartered in Switzerland. There was a little preference for finding an executive in Switzerland. Actually, we're good at looking all over the world, but I happened to be the right man at the right place, and I just came. Obviously, my background in enterprise software did help. As you described nicely, the company is very research-oriented, but will bring the company to be more commercially oriented. So, and this is my past. I've led countries and regions in software, and I think I can bring this kind of a culture into nChain.
Wonderful. And why did the idea of blockchain, or a company that's focused on blockchain tech, really excite you?
I think that it's when you think of blockchain, for many it's a bit of a mystery, it's a bit foggy. But if you've been long enough in the industry, you realize that blockchain is kind of the culmination of many sources. If you've been in the enterprise software, okay, that's one source. If you understand a little bit about cloud computing, it's another one. If you understand databases and networks, all of that makes blockchain happen. So I come from that it's very natural that I'm here.
Excellent, excellent. And to close out, for all, especially the executives watching this who are really set in their ways, they're used to technology that works, more traditional technology, and it's a big process to make a change into using blockchain tech or even starting to learn about it. What would maybe be your advice to them and to how to get over this initial hurdle of looking at changing the way that things have been done for so very long? What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. If you think of the agenda of a CEO that big, and within the agenda of the CEO, IT is that much. If you take the agenda of the CIO, which is that big, the agenda in blockchain is again that small. So you see, relatively, it gets to be small, but yet important. So to answer your question, I think very often education is really the first step. Interestingly, there are many corporations like ours, which brings a true education. We are in a world where YouTube brings you a wealth of information, saying that you have to filter a bit. So I would say educate yourself, educate your staff. Usually large corporations have done large investment in some type of technologies, and you need to reskill. So people must be brave and adapt to new. So let's educate yourself and then start with something small, like a POC in an area, and then we'll try together and we'll make it happen. And then the snowball will be rolling.
Amazing, amazing advice, and it's very inspirational. Thank you so much. Honestly, it's been such a pleasure, and like I said, spending time with you here in this part of the world has been one of the highlights of my trip, and looking forward to seeing a lot more of you, Hakan.
Thank you, Becky. We're lucky to be in Riyadh.
Yes, we are. And thank you guys so much for watching Hashing It Out. This is your host, Becky Liggero for CoinGeek.com.
Data is double-edged. Wield it well and build your place in tomorrow. But trust it blindly and risk watching your progress crumble. Because much of the data we rely upon isn't reliable at all. At nChain, we believe in data, but we put no faith in it. Instead, we build tools that enable enterprises to trust the data upon which they rely. nChain, data without question.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Hashing It Out. For more from the show, click here. For more from the CoinGeek channel, click here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you do not miss any future shows from the CoinGeek channel.